Good afternoon, everyone. We'll be getting started in another minute. Welcome, everyone. My name is Taya, and I'm the Administrative Coordinator at the Temple Small Business Development Center. The Temple SBDC helps small businesses start, grow, and succeed. We do this through our no-cost consulting and a variety of our no-cost webinars and training programs like you're attending today. You're joining us for Learn the Basics of Google Ads. We're recording today's session, and a copy of the recording and PowerPoint will be sent to all attendees within a follow-up email that will be sent within a few business days. All attendees have been muted, and we encourage you to post any questions in the Q&A chat box. And I'll turn over the floor over to Soleil.
Thank you so much. Well, good afternoon, everyone. It is my pleasure to be here with you all. Happy New Year. I hope 2023 is treating you well so far. I'm excited to kick off my very first Google workshop of 2023. We are going to be covering the basics of Google Ads today. So I'm going to go ahead and introduce myself. My name is Soleil Meade. I am the owner of Soleil Branding Essentials. That is a full service branding, graphic, and web design agency that helps small businesses like yourselves, communities, and nonprofits really tap into their brand and bring their visions to life and create sustainability for their vision. So I love helping small business owners like yourself, which is why I am super proud to be your Pennsylvania Grow with Google digital coach, where we offer free workshops every single month to help you grow and enhance your digital skills. I am going to go ahead and drop all of my information in the chat. Don't be afraid, because I do not bite. If you have questions, if you need to connect with me for any reason, please feel free to reach out. My email's there. My website is there. You can sign up for my newsletter. I send a lot of tips on grants and funding information and things of that nature every single month. But honestly, this space is for you. So I want you to gear up and get ready to ask your questions, to, write down your questions, put them in the chat. If something really stands out to you, let me know, tag me on social, or reach out to me in email. It's really helpful for us to know that the information that we are sharing with you is helping you to truly grow your business and to bridge that digital divide that exists for minorities to grow their businesses. So let's go ahead and get started with some of the content for today. So I want you to think about, how often do you actually go to Google to purchase something, to research a purchase? For me right now, my car is getting ready to give up the ghost on me. Love her, she served me very well, but I have been going to Google to research potential purchases. How many of you all may be researching to confirm that an item that you want to buy is maybe in stock, or you're researching to check a review on an item? What happens is, while you're searching, you might find new and interesting products as well. And this happens all the time. The reason why this happens sometimes is because the data is telling us that people are searching online for the things that they need. In 2019, almost half of surveyed shoppers said that they use Google to discover new products, and more than half said that they use Google to research their purposes. So people are going to Google to look for what they need. So I want you all to drop a 1 in the chat for me if you did a Google search today. So if you did a Google search today, drop a 1 in the chat. Yes, I see the ones coming in, right? Because we're geared to it. Like, that's what we are used to doing. So all of these ones, literally the screen is filled with them right now. So all of these ones mean the same way that we go to look on Google for what we need is the same way that your target audience, your potential customer, is going to look for what you need. And we are going to discuss today how Google Ads can be a very helpful tool that can allow you to make sure that you are showing up when people are going to search Google. So let's talk about the benefits of online advertising. It allows you to reach specific audiences. So, if you are posting on social media, which is very, very popular, it is a free means of advertising your business and what you have. If you're just posting on your pages, your page's profile, then your audience is whoever is friends with you. It's not until you sponsor an ad that you can reach specific audiences. So whenever we're setting up our brands and our business, we want to ensure that we know our target audience. So we put our information in front of who our product or our service is for. When you run an ad, you can control when and where the ads appear, and you can also control how much you would like to spend. So probably several years ago, when we would hear, running an ad for your business, it might cause us a little bit of concern, because we would think about television ads and commercials and billboards, which can be costly. But now, since we have digital marketing, this online presence allows us to choose our budget and control when and where ads appear. And then lastly, which is one of the key things about ads, is that you can measure the results. So you want to be able to see how your ad is working. You want to be able to tap into how many clicks it's getting and the demographics of where the clicks are coming from. What's happening is this ad that you are running is opening up your eyes to maybe a new client base, a new location or area of people that are interested in what you have to offer. So those are 3 benefits of ads that we are going to talk about today. So here is the agenda. But before I go ahead and review it, I'm going to drop a question in the chat. I want to know how many of you have run a Google ad campaign before. So type 1 if you have, 2 for no, 3 for I'm working on it or I'm thinking about it. Let me know. So I'm seeing a lot of 2s. So that means a lot of 2s and 3s. I do see a 1 that said it was not that successful. So hopefully we will go over some tools. I've ran ads before that weren't always successful. One thing about marketing is you have to really give it the bandwidth to try new things and switch the ad up, maybe put more money at the budget, maybe zoom down on your target audience. But if anyone who has ran an ad before that hasn't had success or have maybe questions about how to do it better, I welcome those questions. You can drop them in the chat. So let's review the agenda quickly. So we are going to talk about how Google Ads works. Then we're going to talk about advertising on Google. So there are plenty of platforms where you can run an ad on, but we are going to focus on the power of doing it on Google. We're going to talk about how you can improve your ads, writing it better, making sure you know your audience, things of that nature. We're going to get into that analytics part of making sure that you're measuring your success. And then we're going to do a recap and resource. So again, this space and this time is yours. So if you have questions, drop them in the chat. I will be monitoring the chat and getting some additional feedback to you. And you can always save your questions for the end if we have time for question and answer. So one of the things that I love about this particular workshop is we open up with this video, and I hope it plays because it's literally one of my favorite videos. So we are going to look at Trade Street Jam Company as our example throughout this entire workshop. And this video is going to show you how they use ads to grow their small business.
Everybody likes jam. Who doesn't like jam? Seriously, I dream about flavors. Trade Street Jam Company makes low sugar vegan jams for pretty much everything under the sun. Honey, do you know how many things you can do with this jam? You can make cocktails, you can put on roasted meats or veggies, oatmeal. The uses are endless. I've been a chef 15 years. I needed something fun to do after work. I'm not a big TV watcher. I would stop at this store on the way home, grab a bunch of fruit, anything weird and exotic that they had. And I start cooking. I start jamming. Too much? You don't like the puns? You like the bananas, honey? Yeah. My husband is my test dummy, I guess you can say.
You want some more?
You like mommy's cooking? When I started Trade Street, I was selling on another e-commerce platform, and we were also selling a lot of jam in person. But COVID hit and all the markets shut down, which freaked me out. I'm already scared about being a new mommy. Then on top of that, I'm worried about the life of my business. People started ordering specialty food online, so we immediately had to pivot and focus all of my efforts on selling online. When people go on Google and they search jam or jelly, I want them to be able to find my brand. With Google Ads, they can type those things in and I pop up. You guys, that's huge. Being able to sell on our website, it really did save us. I couldn't imagine going back to not using Google products. We went from making 2,000 jars every 2 months to making 2,000 jars every 2 weeks. Our sales increased by 1,000%. It was crazy. I've hired 4 or 5 different contractors. Hiring feels amazing. I think it's so important for our product to have a story behind it. I think when people see a woman behind the brand, a person of color, it just really adds something to that jar other than jam. Oh, you kiss mommy. You kiss it, mommy. I want Zola to be able to grow up and look at me and say, like, my mom did that. I wouldn't trade that for the world.
So how did you all feel about that video? What did you think? I absolutely love that video. Love to hear your feedback on it. Just pulling out a few of the key parts of the video is, you know, she talks about her success with using ads. Excuse me. She talks about how she went from 2,000 every couple months to 2,000 in 2 weeks, and her sales skyrocket 1,000%. So it's just showing the power of running ads and really putting in that work can have on your business. Karen, I see your question. You said based upon what you've been told, videos should be shorter. What's the guidelines for that? So it really depends on where you're marketing at. This particular video is a promo video for ads, but if you're recording a video as an ad on Google or like your social media streams, you want to make sure, we actually talk about that in a YouTube workshop, make sure that you kind of know your audience, and you know, you can do a bite-sized ad, which might be just a couple of seconds, or you can do a longer ad. I know a lot of us experience those whenever we're on YouTube, because if you run a Google ad that is a video, it has the great propensity to show up on YouTube while you're watching. So it really depends on what you would like to do and what's in your bandwidth. But nowadays, when you're looking at Google ads, you probably have a little bit more flexibility of creating a longer ad and it being watched, versus, you know, when you're on social media right now, everything is driven by short videos. So you really want to make sure that you choose your video length based off of your ad platform that you're going to use. I hope that helps. Somebody said, are Google ads more successful via video or photo with text? That's a good question. I think it really depends on what you have to offer. You know, for instance, if you're a service-based business, then sometimes for a service-based businesses, it's hard to show what you're doing. You might be showing yourself at the computer, but you can find that creating verbiage that connects with your audience to say, are you tired of spinning your wheels every day trying to work your back end of your small business? Are you feeling like you're needing support or an extra hand? So those that dialogue that someone might read on a post with a photo attached might be more effective for a service. But if it is a actual product that you offer, you may be better off doing a video where people can see what they're buying. Let me go ahead and move on, and let's talk about how Google Ads works with Google search. So it all starts with a Google search, which we all said, most of us said we've done one today already, right? So what happens is the searcher will type in a word or a phrase in Google, and that's what we like to call a search query. So then what happens is Google has this algorithm. We know we hear about algorithms all the time. It has this algorithm where it creates the search results page that lists different websites and other resources that might be able to help that searcher find what they're looking for. So clicking on these links are free, but sites cannot pay Google to be listed or to be listed in like better positions in the search results. It's really all determined by the algorithm. So you can't like pay your way into the best spot. It really is based on how the algorithm is working. So what happens is we want to help sites appear in the search results, which is called search engine optimization. And we're not covering that topic today, but we definitely cover it in other workshops that hopefully we'll offer a little bit later on. So today we're going to focus right in on advertising. Every time somebody searches on Google, or whether it's separately or simultaneously, I know I do multiple searches all of the time. I'm like looking for a car and also looking for the recipe for dinner. Anything you're looking for, the Google Ads algorithm is going to run online auctions among the advertisers. So if you are one of the advertisers, then you are going to be included in that algorithm that is going to be looking for you to place you in front of me as I'm searching for what I'm looking for. This all happens in milliseconds. So what Google Ads does is it determines which ad is winning, and then it puts them on a search results page. And then they are labeled as ads to distinguish them from all of the other search results. You can see in the far right side of this slide, it shows you how the ads kind of appear at the top, which I'm sure we all know because we did our Google searches today. So what that is where the advertisers get to bid for opportunities to show ads when certain keywords are searched. So that's why search engine optimization is important. That's why when we talk about improving how your ad shows up is important, because all of the keywords and how you construct your ad and build it is really what is going to make sure that the algorithm is going to pick you up, pick your ad up, and put it in front of the people who need to see it. So let's go ahead and talk about how the auction works. We're going to dive a little bit deeper into how Google Ads determines who actually wins the auction. So what ads does is it calculates an ad rank for every single option. So what the ad rank is it's the highest ad rank gets to show in the top position, the second highest in the next, and so on and so forth. So it's very helpful to know what factors kind of are a part of the calculation. So that includes your bid. That's like how much you are paying or willing to pay for an ad to be shown. The quality of your ad and the landing page. So how your ad looks, which someone asked about before, is it a picture or a video? But then the landing page that your ad takes you to is important as well. A group of factors collectively called ad rank thresholds, they set minimum quality requirements. So even if you're the only advertiser in the auction, your ad still has to meet these minimum requirements, right? So then the competitiveness of the auction also plays a factor into the calculation. How many other advertisers are you competing with that have those same keywords that, for instance, I sell an annual planner for my business. So around this time, so probably from November all the way up until February, if I run an ad on my planner, then there's probably going to be some competitors in the auction because everyone who's selling an annual planner is trying to get the word out during that time. I hope that's a good example for you all to understand how that competitive nature could pop up. Another factor is the context of your search, like the location, the device they're on, that all plays a part. And then the expected impact of the ad assets. The assets help the ad stand out by attaching bonus information like phone numbers or addresses. So when you have those factors added in, they all play into how you may show up in the algorithm. So ad rank is not a published number, so you won't know what your ad ranking is. It really changes depending on search. And I think there was a stat that we put out there that there's like almost 1 million of searches every like couple minutes or something. So in 1 minute, you can rank high on a search, and then later in the day you might rank lower. So you cannot hope to pull down a specific ad rank. But the tips in this workshop is going to help you improve your ad ranking, which can overall improve your chances of showing ads on Google. I'm going to drop two references in the chat, which are resources that can potentially help you to just, if you want to go a little deeper and look more into the ad auction and the ad ranking, then these two resources should be able to help you. So let's go ahead and zoom into the focus of today's workshop, which are text ads. So someone asked earlier, should it be a video ad? Should it be a picture with your ad? And all of those are different types of ads that can happen. But this time we're going to focus on a text ad. A lot of us see those kind of popping up at the top of our Google searches whenever we do them. Text ads use a pay per click or a cost per click model. What this means is that you only get charged, or you only pay whenever a searcher actually takes an action on your ad. So if they type in your business and your ad pops up and they actually click on the ad, visit the website, or make a call, then you will be charged. But you will not be charged for the impressions. That's whenever those ads pop up and we see it and we make that mental note, but we keep scrolling. So the text ads really are helpful for small business owners that are starting ads out, because you won't have to pay for impressions and other kind of engagements, only whenever someone takes that action of clicking or engaging with your ad. So I do want to know, I'm going to put it in the chat, how many of you have seen a text ad in one of your personal searches before? Give me a 1 for yes and a 2 for no. Just curious. Yep. So it's a bunch of ones. And to be honest, so often we are, as small business owners and visionaries, we are often like trying to separate when we're running our business and then when we're just being ourselves. But one thing that I am learning, especially through all of these teachings with Google, with digital marketing, is it is so imperative for us to realize that a lot of our behaviors that we have when we are searching Google and looking for certain items to buy or businesses to support, like we have to use some of the same behaviors and mindsets that we have in knowing that someone else is doing that same thing and our business is popping up there. So let's talk a little bit about text ads and where they can appear. This is really cool because whenever you run an ad with Google, Google has the display network, which is made up of various websites that shows ads. That network includes all of Google sites like Gmail, plus 2 million more non-Google partner sites. And it reaches 90% of internet users worldwide. So this information right here was really important if you're considering an ad and trying to figure out where to run it at. These statistics really support the power in running an ad on Google. So this workshop here doesn't cover the display network in great detail, but it's definitely worth noting so you know the kind of power that's behind where your ad can be displayed. So let's go ahead and talk about actually advertising on Google and setting up your account and running your first campaign. So one of the first things that you want to do is go ahead and set up your Google Ads account. So I'm going to go ahead and drop a link in the chat, and this would help you to go and get started. One of the things I do want to mention is that if you have a Google business profile already, a lot of times once you set up your profile, if you go into your dashboard, look into that a little more, you will find that sometimes there are coupons or discounts and ads that are made available through your business profile. So if you are interested in running an ad, it might be very advantageous for you to check out your business profile to see if you have any credits available. So once you sign into your Google account, you're going to go ahead and click Start Now. I do want to mention that there's no fees to use Google Ads. There's no startup fees, no cancellation fee, no minimum commitment, no contract. You can turn your ad campaigns off and on at any time, so you have full control over it. Every new Google ad account defaults to smart mode, where it creates smart campaigns. And I talked about that a little bit already, but smart campaigns are really helpful for small business owners like us to get new advertisers to quickly like really automate the aspects of the campaign. So a smart campaign is going to help you create your ad. And sometimes I see a lot of people said that their ads weren't successful. And one kind of pro tip that I would offer is running a smart campaign has worked well for me, but it's worked even better whenever I pair in some of my verbiage and my knowledge about my audience and my service or product that I'm offering to help out what the smart campaign is pulling down for me. So you want to enter your business name in. This is really important that you use the name that you want your potential customers to know. So you want to go ahead and use your business name. And then you're going to enter in your website. So this is the web page that you want people to go to after clicking your ad. So one of the things I really want to emphasize to you is that a lot of times people will run an ad and have it just go to their website. Like my website is soleilmeade.com. But if I'm trying to sell my planners, then and my ad is for my planners, but it goes to soleilmeade.com. I want you guys to just take a minute and think about the experience that you would have if you see my planner and you love it, but you click the link and it just takes you to my page. And when you go to my page, the first thing you don't see is my planner. So now you have to figure out where to click. So we want to make sure that you use the website URL for the page that you want people to see that's connected to your ad. So in my case, I would send people to my webpage, soleilmeade.com/executive vision planner. That way, when they click on the ad, that you want them to go to the page that is going to be most relevant to the product that they had looked at or the ad that they see. So the next thing you want to do is preview the landing page. So you can preview the selected web page on a mobile and desktop view. You want to make sure that your web page looks good on both views. And this is really important because I don't have actual statistics on this, but most of us search on Google through our phone. So let's do a little test in the chat. If you primarily do your Google searches on your phone, type 1 in the chat and let me know. The ones are coming in, right? So, I mean, I work from home. I have a service-based business, so I do searches on both my phone, but if I have my Photoshop up working on a design and I have a random thought, guess what I do? I pick up my phone and I search there. So you want to make sure that your web page looks good in both places. The next thing you want to do is set your advertising goal. So this is really important. You want to have a call to action. What do you want people to do? What is the purpose of this ad? Do you want to get more calls into the office so you can set up consultations? Do you want to get more website sales or people to sign up to your newsletter? Do you want to get more visits to the store? You can have more than one goal, but I want you to keep in mind, if you have more than one goal, you might want to create a separate ad for that. So then that way you can have the measured results that are for that audience that is creating more sales on your website. And then you can also see the analytics and data on the people that are actually coming to your store, whatever your goals may be. The next step that you want to do is write your text ad. So this slide is going to show you how to how you would fill out or write your ad. So an automatic character count lets you know how much space you have. I always go to word counter and kind of type out the ad language first to make sure that it is within the character count and kind of make adjustments in there. That could be a good resource for you. The checkbox allows you to include a call button with your ad. So if you know that you find or are able to kind of move potential clients into the into the phase where they're committed to like buying, like they're beyond the awareness phase, they're in the conversion phase, and they're ready to make a sale. Once they get on the phone with you, you might want to use that call button to have that be the call to action with the ad. So we're going to talk a little bit more about writing effective ads a little later in the workshop, but I'm going to drop a couple of tips that might be good for you whenever you are preparing your ad. So right now, the way that I'm going through this is as if you were actually getting ready to start the ad. I always encourage small business owners to take that preparation time, and the information that I just dropped in the chat would kind of help you to know what you're preparing for. The 3 headlines, the 2 description lines, you want to have your website link, a keywords list, a location, and a maximum budget. If you get even a little bit of content for each one of those, then you'll feel more empowered when you go to start your ad. So next is the keyword themes. I mentioned that in the keywords list. I love to encourage small business owners to just keep your keyword list, like keep one on your phone that just has, keywords that match up with your business. You want to make sure that you pay special attention to your keywords, because it's going to have an influence on how you show up in your search results. You also want to use keywords that are also in your ad and on your landing page. You definitely should select a keyword theme that describes the focus of your ad and not necessarily everything that your business offers. And sometimes that's hard for us to do. As entrepreneurs, we see maybe the big picture of everything with our business, but when you are creating an ad for a specific goal or a specific product or service, you want to kind of draw that attention to them. So I see there's a couple of questions in the chat. Keep them coming. In a couple of slides, I'm going to pause and answer a couple of those questions.
One moment.
So
So the information previously shared, I just resent it. You have the chat on host and panelists. So I just resent that information so everyone can see it.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. All right. I changed it to everyone. So now everybody can see what I post in there, right?
Yes.
Okay. Do I need to repost the links that I sent earlier?
Let me double check.
Yeah, I'll go back through and drop it in there. Just in
Yes,
case.
I can just go ahead and resend those.
I got it. I grabbed it. Okay, we're good now. Thanks for letting me know that.
You're welcome.
All right, y'all. So the next part is the location. So you got your keywords list. Now you're selecting the location. So where do you want to display your ad? And again, I understand, because, I sit in the same seat as you all. I'm a small business owner as well. And it is a heavy load, but a very fulfilling load to carry. But a lot of times, to make things a little easier on us, we might just want our geographic location to be everywhere, especially if you're a service-based business. That means you have the capacity a lot of times to work anywhere. But there is definitely a benefit whenever you're able to kind of zoom in and set your geographic locations. Think about your audience. If we're all in the state of Pennsylvania. If I know that I have a great deal of clients in the Pittsburgh area, but not central PA, and in the Philadelphia area, then maybe of course, I could set my ad to go all across the country, but maybe it would be smarter for me to try to have a strategy that covers my state. So this particular ad that I'm going to talk about, my graphic design, web design, and branding services, I'm going to run in central PA and in the Philadelphia area, because I want Soleil Branding Essentials to be able to cover that whole area. You can even put zip codes in, you can put in cities, you could put in regions, you can even draw a radius around a certain address. That's really helpful for people who have storefront businesses, maybe restaurants or boutiques and things of that nature, and you want to target the neighborhood in which you reside in. You can do that, and you can always adjust that information at a later date and time. For those of you who have mentioned that they have found, issues with the ad not working well, These are some of the things that you can tinker with as your ad is running to see if you get different results based on changing the location information or adding another keyword or taking out one and things of that nature. So the next step is setting a budget. So this part is really important. The beauty of it is that you are setting a budget that you are choosing. So you get to choose your maximum monthly budget. So if you say, I only want to spend $200 a month on ads, then what happens is Google Ads will multiply your daily budget, which they'll break that down, which is the average numbers of days in a month. And then the product is your maximum monthly budget. So then Google is going to configure that to how much your daily ad spend will be, but it might vary. But the total ad spend won't be above your $200 maximum that you sent. So you might find one day that Google Ads, puts you in a higher position, and that daily spend was more than the next day where you may have not been put in the same position, but nonetheless, you will never go over what you set your monthly budget at. And another important note is that you're only going to be charged for the clicks that you receive. So only if someone takes action on your ad. So if your maximum monthly budget is $150 and your ad spend is $10, then you will be charged $10 and not $150. You're only going to be charged for the actual activity on your ad. The goal is, if you set it for 200, that the ad is doing well, that you're able to spend that 200. If you notice that your ad spend is low, there may be some changes that need to be made to the ad to get it to be more successful. And then the last thing you want to do is review your campaign. So once you set up all those pieces, it's going to give you a preview of what your ad might look like. You might see some things you want to change and edit, and you can do that at this moment, or you can do that at any point. And I'm sorry, the final step is setting up the billing. So you'll have to submit payment info in order for your campaign to go live. And then you can do things such as ad scheduling, which allows you to select certain days of the weeks and times of day whenever your ads are eligible to appear. So that's useful if you don't want to show ads during hours that your business is closed. And that is, in essence, how you set up a smart campaign. I'm going to touch on some of the different campaigns that we have just briefly, but I want to answer some of the questions that we have in the chat. So Debbie said, when selecting a location, can you just choose specific states? Yes, you can. You absolutely can. Does the money carry over to the next month? So I think you might have asked that question before I got to the end of that slide. So you only get charged for what it is that is used. So if, again, if your ad spend is, if your budget is $200, but you only had an ad spend of $100, you're only going to be charged for $100. So it doesn't, that other 100 doesn't like carry over and make the next month 300. So that's just how it's set up. But that's where you have the power to adjust your ad. So because you only spent 100, maybe you go back in and preparing for the next month, you make that ad $300 because you have that extra $100 that wasn't spent. So hopefully that makes sense, Christine. Regina said, when using the coupon, are there any expiration dates? Can I turn it off or have to use the value of the coupon all at once? I think I have a $30 coupon. I think you're referring to like the credits that they give. So you can turn your ad on or off whenever you want to, but I'm not too sure about the details of the credit. I will say it usually tells you, like in your business profile, if it expires or not, or when it might expire. And I'm not honestly sure if you can break it up and use it. I want to say, so whenever you set up your Google Ads account, all of your ads are managed in there. So if you apply that $300 credit, and it's not used, but you pause your ad, I believe that $300 credit is already applied to your account. But I would definitely look at, all of the small print and details that would be connected to the credit that you see. How long should I let an ad run before I determine whether or not it's successful? Rose, that's a great question. My marketing expertise wants to tell you to give it time. And for us, we want to see things like right now. Like if I run this ad, I want to, see my sales increase like Trade Street Jam to 1,000 by the end of the month. But typically we say anywhere, we try to tell our clients like 6 months on an ad, like to just really allow it on any marketing that you're doing, even if you're starting to post on social media more or do more polls or lives, like any type of marketing tactic that you want to implement and try, at least give it 6 months. If 6 is too much, at least 3 months. So you can see and gauge its effectiveness. It's not fair to the ad to just do it once and determine that it doesn't work. Anything with marketing, it needs some level of consistency to assess what changes need to be happen or its effectiveness for your business. Okay, Debbie said, if I have more than one business, do I set up separate accounts? Yes. So whenever you sign into Google, make sure whatever ad account like that you want, whatever business you want to run an ad on, make sure you are selecting that account in your Google space. So then that way, when you open ads, it should connect to that particular business. So you don't have everything mixing together. So you guys can keep the questions coming. I have some more content to cover in our next 20 minutes, but I'm going to go in and talk about campaign options. So we talked about smart campaigns. Smart campaigns are the easiest options for new advertisers, small businesses like us. But I do want to let you all know that there is a more advanced campaign strategy, which are called search campaigns. Search campaigns, the whole layout looks different than the layout that we just went through in a smart campaign, because with these type of campaigns, you are creating them in expert mode. So this chart here is a really good one. If you all are screenshotting and taking notes, this is a great slide to screenshot because it shows you the difference between the two. So if you look at the top 3 rows, for smart campaigns, everything is automated. The bidding is automated. So, the smart campaign is going to do the bidding for you. That's why your daily spend numbers are different all the time. The smart campaign are going to do ad assets for you. So because you entered all of your information in about your business and connected your business profile, it's going to put certain information out connecting to your ad. Keyword creation, it's going to automate that for you. Now, my suggestion is to add your additional keywords to it, but it's doing all that for you. Now, if you switch to a search campaign, that professional, more advanced campaign, you are managing all that. So you are going to have to figure out your bidding strategy, your ad assets, and what is connected to your ad, as well as your keywords. So you're going to have to be a lot more prepared. Expert mode actually gives advertisers more control, but it also requires that active management. To get strong results, it's recommended that you manage campaigns every day. So that is a very important note. So if you're like, I tried smart campaigns, I want to try search campaigns, that's great. But here we're just trying to give you that overview for you to know what that's going to take out of you. So you're going to need to be in this ad account every day, making those adjustments and tweaking things. So this is why expert mode is recommended for marketers and advertisers who need advanced controls and tools and reporting to manage their campaigns. So this is helpful for you to understand like ad structure and how ads work. If you're creating a search campaign, you'll need to choose your networks, bidding strategies, ad groups, keywords, and more. So there's a lot to know. So I'm just going to go over a couple of informations of different levels with search campaigns, because we don't want to leave it completely uncovered. But again, our focus is the actual text or smart campaigns. So when you look at account structure, you want to understand what you're making whenever you set up the account. So Level 1 is your account, and your account has general information like your username and your password and your billing details. Level 2 is the campaigns. And as you can see, it's showing you 2 boxes, because if you are in this expert mode, 9 times out of 10, you're probably running more than one campaign at once. You're going to set your budget, choose your language, choose the locations, and general preferences and things. So for an example, your first campaign might have a budget of $50 a day to show ads to people who set their browser language to English. Whereas your second ad might have a budget for $60 a day, and it shows to people who set their browser language to Spanish. And in this example, all in all, the advertiser could spend at a maximum $110 a day across these 2 campaigns. So once again, there's a lot of, information that you can experiment with, and you can actually run up to 10,000 campaigns on your search campaign. And then the third level are ad groups. So the ad groups are collections of keywords that are associated with your ad. So the campaign settings apply to all of the ad groups that are within. But most successful ads have highly focused ad groups with keywords that match the ad to the landing page. So, that one campaign that had the ads focused on English might have an ad group for each of the products that they offer. And the ones that particularly stand out for people who, browser languages in English. And then on the other campaign where it's Spanish, those products might look different for people who are browsing in Spanish. So now you can create ad groups that connect to that focus of the browser language being English or Spanish. And again, you have a lot of room to move around because each campaign can have 20,000 ad groups. 10,000 campaigns, 20,000 ad groups. So I think somebody asked a question like, did I miss where you choose smart versus search campaigns? And I'm about to look at that right now and show you how you would move into expert mode. I see a couple more questions, but I will go through these slides on on a search campaign, and then I'll answer your questions. I do see someone asking about if you get the slides sent to you, and unfortunately, we're not able to send the actual PowerPoint presentation, but there is a recording. There's a handout I'll give you at the end, and you are more than welcome to screenshot any slides that you want to draw down information from. If you need me to go back to any slides at the end, I can absolutely do that for you. So this is talking about smart mode, which is where we created our Google Ads account, right? So we went through that, and that's the smart mode was where the smart campaign. But what happens is you have to switch to expert mode to create a search campaign. So to switch to from smart mode to expert mode, you have to navigate to a new campaign. So if you started a smart campaign but didn't complete it, you may have to click the back button to start a whole new ad. So what you want to do is whenever you're in the portal, you want to go ahead and start that new ad and click switch to expert mode, which is near the bottom of your screen. And then to create the search campaign, you have to be in expert mode, and you want to start at the all campaigns part on your dashboard. And then you want to click a new campaign. You're going to set a goal for that campaign, and you are also going to create a campaign type. So in order to create the search campaign, you want to click the option labeled search as shown on this slide in the call out box. So before I move into the next segment about improving your edge, which kind of covers both search and smart campaigns, I'm going to pause to see if there were any questions that I didn't get to. And if you have questions, you can drop them in the chat. So Debbie said, are there stats and click info provided for smart campaigns or just the more advanced campaigns? So Debbie, that's a great question. So there is data, insights, and analytics that are provided for both smart campaigns and for advanced campaigns. The advanced campaigns, and we're going to get into that a little bit, the power of connecting your analytics account to an ad you're running is going to give you even deeper insight and data for the ad that you are running and the people that are visiting your site and engaging. But at minimum, when you're in your smart campaign, you are going to see data about how many clicks, how many impressions you had. It's going to be more maybe streamlined to a couple of pieces of data points. Whereas if you go into the search campaign, you're going to see those same things, but probably get a little bit more detailed into that because the search campaigns are so much more involved than the smart campaign. But for both of them, you do get analytics and insights. All right, so let's go on to improving your ads. And again, I see that we are getting very close to the 1 o'clock mark. So if you have any questions, please drop them in the chat so I can make sure I respond to them at the close of the presentation. So we already went over this a little bit. So I'm going to go through this. I provided this information a little earlier in the presentation, but when we talk about what makes up a text ad, we want to know that it includes those 3 headlines that appears at the top of each of your ad. When you're in expert mode, your ads are responsive, which means that Google can show headlines and descriptions in any order. So when you're in expert mode, you will write 3 headlines, but you can add up to 15 because you know that Google can switch them up at any time for you. The description line shows up right below your website address or your landing page. That can be up to 90 characters. So just as the slides show, you'll see a visual representation of what your ad would look like as you write the text ad. You can look at it on different layouts, whether you're on a laptop, a tablet, or a mobile phone. And you can adjust the layouts if the system predicts that the ad will perform better. So one of the things that I want to make sure you know is that when you're in a smart campaign, Google is going to make all type of predictions to you for you to make the campaign better. So even once you run it, if you notice that you're not getting a lot of traction, it's going to tell you maybe change your keyword or add this and that. So it's going to give you some information. So a great ad, you want to focus on the most relevant and compelling information that's in your ad. It's going to highlight your product or service, and you might want to include prices or sales or promotions you're running. You always want to make sure your ad has a call to action, and you want to at least include 1 or at least 1 to 3 of your keywords in either your headline or your description wherever you are writing your ad. One of the things that you can do is have different ad variations. So again, if you notice after 2 weeks, the ad you're running isn't doing as well, be prepared and switch up and put some new content and information in there to review the performance. So when you're in expert mode, you can see they have this ad strength tool, which evaluates your ad and makes recommendations for improvement. So you can use that specific tool whenever you are in the expert mode. But when you are in smart mode, it'll still give you some recommendations as well. It's just probably not as detailed as in expert mode. I just dropped a link in the chat that is going to help you to write more effective ads. So with smart campaigns, you want to have that keyword theme. So you would have a single keyword that represents multiple, a keyword theme will represent multiple keywords. So for example, if the theme is fruit jam, it also is going to represent strawberry jam, raspberry preserves, or peach jelly. The smart campaign is saving you time by developing this exhaustive list of keywords to just automatically attach to your ad campaign. This is why it's important to add your own or edit it, because if you notice that, you're getting a lot of questions on your website about why you don't offer preserves and only jam, then maybe you need to take the keywords out that are connected to preserves. When you set up a smart campaign, it's going to either suggest your keywords or you can create your own. So here's some tips on how to improve your keywords. You can have 7 to 10 keyword themes. You want to think like your customers, think about what they would be typing whenever they are searching. You want to create separate campaigns for different keyword themes. So you don't want to put hot sauce keyword themes in a campaign that's promoting fruit jam, right? So you want to make sure everything is relevant and it makes sense. And then like I said, you want to review those that aren't actually active or working the best for you. This is a high-level overview of understanding keywords in expert mode. So you will have different types of ads and how keywords can show up. So you can have the default match type is broad match, where it includes like similar keywords, and ads may show on related searches, including searches that don't actually contain the keyword. So it's giving you a broad spectrum. The phrase match is more restrictive. So those ads are going to show on searches that include the meaning of your keyword, and you can add quotation marks to make a keyword phrase match. So it is going to be more restrictive and focus on searches that are connected to that exact phrase. Then you have the exact match, which is most precise. So literally, it's only going to pop up when somebody exactly types in this particular word or phrase, and you use brackets for exact match. And then you also have the power to put in negative keywords, which really important because they let you prevent your ads from showing to certain places where it may not make sense. For instance, if you show jam and you don't want ads to show for people whenever they search jam band, then the negative keyword could be banned because people might be searching for a jam band. Another cool tool about expert mode is it has the keyword planner. It helps you discover new keywords. It estimates the number of searches a keyword gets each month. So this, again, that expert mode is going to give you higher level analytics and data. We talked about ad assets already, and ad assets are those call out assets, the phone numbers, the site links, the price assets that might talk about a sale or a promotion. So whenever you're with a smart campaign, the smart campaign is going to automatically generate ad assets for you. Whenever you're in your search campaign, you are going to be able to set up your assets. And there are many ways that you can set them up. Again, if you have different ad groups, then your site links might be different for each ad group, and you have the power to set up those assets. So the last thing that we're going to talk about is just measuring success, which we already, touched on already. How does analytics play into it? How do I get data and insight? So this question is super important because it's like, what are your advertising goals and what do you want to accomplish? That's a good question for you to ask yourself right now. The benefit of using online advertising is that you don't have to guess if your ad is working or not. The data is going to show you what's happening, and then you make the adjustments from there on out and continue, again, that 3 to 6 months to continue with it, to make the adjustments until you find your sweet spot. So I want to go over just a couple of terminology points that will help you whenever you are managing your data. So the first one is impressions. So the impression is telling you how often your ad is shown. This is whether somebody clicks or not. Usually our impressions are high. Impressions show that Google Ads is working for us. So your ad is being seen, but the clicks is actually showing who's clicking on it. That is going to show the success. So we know that from impressions that the Google Ads platform is putting our information out there, but if our impressions are high and our clicks are low, then we might need to work on the keywords in our ads, or maybe how our description is laid out. And then finally, it's a conversion. So that's whenever that click turns into someone actually taking a behavior, usually that goal behavior that you set in the beginning. So this is what a report would look like in a smart campaign. I know I talked about it already, so I'm just going to show the slide so you can see, this is what it looks like. It's showing you what your all-time spend is. It's telling you the impressions, the clicks, and the conversions that were made. And below that, you see the recommendation box. So this is what it looks like in a search campaign. And as you can see, you got more graphs and it's a little bit more detailed, but nonetheless, it's giving you that overview, an in-depth overview of what's happening. With a search campaign, you can see that there is a box down there for ad groups and for keywords, because in a expert mode, you're going to be able to learn how your keywords are performing, how your ad groups are performing, and so on and so forth. So in order to track conversions in Google Ads, you want to go to your reports area. So you would go to tools and settings at the top, and then go to measurements and click conversions. And then from there, you can create conversion actions. And that actually allows you to see specific customer activity that's valuable to your business. So you might track things like an action on your website or phone calls or app installation. And this is where you could set that up. It works a little different for each source, but this is how it works for a web page. So it's showing you that you need a piece of code from your website. And then when someone clicks that ad, a cookie is placed on their computer. And I know many of us are used to cookies. So when they complete that conversion action, Google then recognizes the cookie through the code that you added and then records that conversion so you can see it in a report. So again, in this expert mode, it's definitely getting more detailed. I also touched on how you can track conversions with analytics. So analytics is another free tool that we offer, which is absolutely amazing, and it helps you understand visitor behavior on your website. So it's helpful for you to connect the both because your ad is likely going to drive visitors to your website. So you can learn about bounce rate, how many people are just clicking on a website and leaving out, how long they stay on your site, what pages do they visit the most, and all that information can be used to help you create an ad that connects with how people are interacting with your site. So now we're at recap and resources. I really appreciate all of you who stayed on with me today. I'm gonna drop a couple of questions in the chat. And I wanna know if you learned more about Google Ads today and have clarity on how to set up, run, and track the ad. If that is you, give me a 1 in the chat. I love to see the ones coming in. This is a very, very helpful workshop. I do recommend revisiting it if you are setting up an ad and maybe walking through it with me, and that way you can pause and do it at your pace. I got another question for you. I want you to give me an explanation point in the chat if you're going to use Google Ads for your business now or some point in the future. So let me know that. I love it, Tremaine. I love all those explanation points. All right, so let me hop into the recap and resources. We talked about how ads work, how to advertise on Google, whether it's a smart campaign or a search campaign. We talked about how to improve your ads and writing the ad content and coming up with those keywords, and then measuring success by using the data and insight tools that are within each of the ad types, but also, connecting analytics to your ad so you can get a full picture of interaction on your site. I am going to do what I like to call the Google tools dump, and I am going to put a couple of different links in the chat for you all to check into. The first is YouTube. So Grow with Google has a YouTube channel where you can access videos like this that I do and different resources. Every Thursday, we publish a new video covering topics that help you to grow your business. The other is Google Career Certificate. So there are plenty of certificates that you can take to just level up your skill. I just got finished with the digital marketing and e-commerce certification, and it was intense. It was like 6 months. It was lots of information, lots of tests, but it really helped me sharpen my skill because when you're in a digital marketing world, it's important that you stay relevant to what's happening now. But they also have certifications in analytics, IT support, project management, and you can check all of that out at the Google certificates. And then just google.com/grow. It's for anyone who is looking to find work, find jobs, grow their business, has tons of resources. So before I end out, I want to know from you all, what's your action plan? Like, what's one thing that you are going to do leaving here to help your business when it comes to ads and advertising? Give me one part that stood out to you to most. I would love to hear that in the chat. And then while you're typing that, I'm going to drop a little bit of information for a survey that you can complete with us. This survey is super helpful for us to know if we are doing well. And I want to thank you all for sticking with me today and being so engaging in the chat. I am going to turn it back over to my friends at Temple because I know they want to officially close out with you all.
Thank you, Soleil. Thank you everyone for joining us today. Please be sure to take the survey that Soleil has posted, as well as the survey from the Temple SBDC. We value your feedback, and we use these surveys to improve our webinars in the future. And it is a requirement by our funders, the SBA, so we can continue to provide no-cost webinars in the future. You will also be sent the follow-up email automatically within 2 to 3 business days. And if you have any questions following up from this webinar, please feel free to reach out to us at sbdc@temple.edu. And thank you everyone for joining us today, and thank you, Soleil, for presenting.
Thanks for having me so much. I don't think I missed any questions. I think I kind of stayed up on them. Did I miss anything? Did you have any questions that came to you?
No, I don't have any questions. Someone said my question was missed. If you could repost that question, please, Karen.
I see your question. Is there an ad spend guideline, meaning what is the suggested monthly budget? That's a great question. We get that a lot. So it's a tough one to answer because I don't think we have an ad spend guideline. I'm actually about to see if there is something online, but the purpose of the SMART campaign is to make it to where anyone can run an ad that's a small business, right? So we kind of try to take away that notion of ads aren't for me because I can't afford it. So one of the things that I suggest is, if you can set a monthly budget that is within your range. So like, when you sit down for your budget for your business, include a marketing budget, and that marketing budget might include, maybe some graphics that you'll get done, but some of it will be for ads. I know typically a lot of people start with like a couple $100s, especially when you're just testing the water. I've had reports back from people who have said that they took a leap. There was someone last year in a workshop that said usually they would run ads for like maybe $100 here or there, and they would see some traction, but not much. But she decided to put $1,000 down on one of her ads, and she had the greatest sales month that she had that entire year. So of course, the more that you spend, the more it will get out there to people. But if you're new to it, I would recommend starting smaller. I see John said 8 to 10% of your annual marketing budget, based off of your overall cash flow. So that's a good baseline right there. But you know what you have, so start small, and that way with a SMART campaign, you can kind of get familiar with like tinkering with the ads and things of that nature, and then you can increase your budget from there. And you can even switch to expert mode. Say once you get to that point where you're ready to invest $1,000 and you've played with it, you're now feeling more empowered to be in expert mode, where you can make sure that that money that you're investing is going to stretch and go as long as it can for you. So I hope that helped, Karen. And thank you, John, for the insight that you provided as well.
All right, I don't see any other questions. All right, thank you everyone for joining us this afternoon, and enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you.